his political career and achievements. Everything about the Shaked Twine and Zohran Mamdani, his life and everything about him. Part 2. Mamdani has argued that increasing policing and incarceration does little to prevent harm, and that dignified work, economic stability, and well-resourced neighborhoods can more effectively keep the public safe. He has advocated a more community-based approach to reducing crime, focusing on homeless outreach and anti-violence programs. He contends that there is too much reliance on police to fix societal problems, saying, "Police have a critical role to play, but right now we are relying on them to deal with the failures of the social safety net of reliance that is preventing them from doing their actual jobs." He has proposed a Department of Community Safety to expand mental health outreach. In June 2020, Mamdani tweeted, "We don't need an investigation to know that the NYPD is racist, anti-queer, and a major threat to public safety. What we need is to #defund the NYPD." During the 2025 mayoral race, he opposed defunding, saying during the second primary debate that he would not defund the police, he would work with the police. Mamdani advocates for debt relief among taxi medallion owners. Mamdani has advocated rent control, strengthening tenant protections, and creating a social housing development agency that would build publicly owned affordable housing. He wants to build 200,000 new units of affordable, rent-stabilized homes over the next 10 years, and double the amount of spending to rehabilitate homes for the city's 400,000 public housing tenants. He also wants to increase density around mass transit hubs and upzone wealthier neighborhoods, citing housing policies in Jersey City and Tokyo as examples. Mamdani supports raising New York City's minimum wage to $30 per hour by 2030. He advocates a pilot program in which the city government would operate one grocery store in each borough to drive down prices. Mamdani supports an increase in corporate taxes in New York State from 7.25% to 11.5% to match those of New Jersey. He also supports a new 2% increase for income tax on city residents who earn more than $1 million a year to raise $20 billion to fund tuition-free CUNY and SUNY schools, statewide universal child care, a subway fare freeze, free MTA buses, and tenant protections. In June 2025, Mamdani said, "I don't think we should have billionaires." Mamdani views climate action as essential to achieving social justice in New York City. In 2021, he organized volunteers and lobbied Governor Kathy Hochul to prevent the expansion of a gas-fired peaker power plant in Astoria, citing environmental concerns for low-income non-white communities. Mamdani has also backed statewide measures, such as the All-Electric Buildings Act, which prohibits installing fossil fuel equipment, e.g., gas stoves, in new buildings, and supported introducing congestion pricing in Manhattan to reduce traffic-related emissions. As a mayoral candidate, Mamdani proposed a comprehensive decarbonization and resilience agenda. His Green Schools for a Healthier New York City blueprint would retrofit 500 public school buildings with rooftop solar arrays and upgraded HVAC systems, build 500 green schoolyards, transform heat-absorbing asphalt into green space serving students and community residents, convert 50 schools into year-round resilience hubs to offer shelter and resources during extreme heat, storms, or flooding, and extend tax incentives such as J51 benefits to support building owners' compliance with Local Law 97. Mamdani is an advocate for the New York Health Act, which would establish single-payer healthcare in New York State. He starred in a 2021 advertisement for the Campaign for New York Health, along with State Senator Jabari Brisport, portraying a firefighter. Mamdani is deeply critical of Israel, condemning Israeli apartheid in 2023. Mamdani has expressed support for the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement. Early in 2023, he introduced a bill called the Not on Our Dime, ending New York funding of Israeli Settler Violence Act, which would prohibit registered charities from donating to organizations involved in Israel's illegal West Bank settlements. A later iteration of the bill added organizations lending support to alleged war crimes in Gaza. The day after the Hamas-led October 7th attacks on Israel, Mamdani issued a statement to mourn the hundreds of people killed across Israel and Palestine, and that Israel's war in Gaza, stoppage of Gaza's electricity, politicians' rhetoric would lead to more violence. With the only path to peace through ending occupation and apartheid, it made no mention of Hamas. He later condemned the Hamas attacks as a horrific war crime. On October 13, 2023, he was among several protesters arrested during a pro-Palestinian demonstration in New York City, part of a series of protests calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. That day he described Israel as on the brink of committing genocide in Gaza. By mid-2025, he believed that Israel was committing one. In a 2025 interview, Mamdani stated that if Benjamin Netanyahu travels to New York City, he should be arrested in accordance with the International Criminal Court's warrant for his arrest. In May 2025, Mamdani declined to sign on to the annual New York Assembly resolution condemning the Holocaust and celebrating the anniversary of the founding of Israel because it contained the wording that Israel continues to strive for peace with security and dignity for itself, its neighbors, and throughout the world, in order to fulfill the prophecy of becoming a light unto the nations, which Mamdani's spokesman said was belied by the conduct of the current government of Israel over the past 18 months. His decision drew criticism from Assembly member Sam Berger, who also criticized Mamdani's condemnation of Israel during the Gaza war. Mamdani believes that Israel has a right to exist, but has not said he believes it has a right to exist as a Jewish state, saying instead that Israel has a right to exist as a state with equal rights for all its citizens. Mamdani had co-sponsored the Assembly's resolution in 2021, but did not in 2022, 2023, or 2024. His campaign claimed that he had voted for the resolutions each year prior to 2025 and cited his social media posts from those years. While campaigning for New York City mayor on the Bulwark podcast in June 2025, asked about the phrase "globalize the Intifada," Mamdani described it as a symbolic call against Israel's violation of Palestinian human rights, not for violence or anti-Semitism. Mamdani said the word Intifada has been used by the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum in Arabic translations referring to Jewish resistance during World War II. The museum denounced his comments, saying they sanitized the slogan. Several Jewish public figures also condemned Mamdani's remarks, including U.S. Representative Ted Deutsch, former World Jewish Congress Vice President Mark Schneier, ADL leader Jonathan Greenblatt, Rabbi Amiel Hirsch, and U.S. Representative Dan Goldman. Fellow mayoral candidate and Jewish New York City comptroller Brad Lander defended Mamdani, saying he personally disliked the slogan but believed Mamdani would protect Jewish New Yorkers as mayor. After Mamdani became the presumptive nominee, U.S. Representative and prominent New York Jewish leader Jerry Nadler endorsed him, saying he had spoken with Mamdani and that he would join him in fighting hate. Republicans have called Mamdani anti-Semitic over his support of Palestine and criticism of Israel. Mamdani has stated that his criticism of Israel is not equivalent to anti-Semitism, maintaining that there is a difference between anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism. After criticism of his Bulwark interview, Mamdani responded, "I've said at every opportunity that there is no room for anti-Semitism in this city, in this country. I've said that because that is something I personally believe." Mamdani has expressed love for Jews in New York City. He has indicated that anti-Semitism is antithetical to his belief in universal human rights, and described anti-Semitism as a real issue for New York City. Mamdani has made mayoral campaign pledges to protect Jewish New Yorkers, and to combat anti-Semitism by establishing a City Department of Community Safety and spending 800% more city funds on anti-hate crime programming. At a mayoral forum in May 2025, during which he appeared alongside Brad Lander and Scott Stringer, the question of engaging with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi at a rally, such as one at Madison Square Garden, was posed. In response, Mamdani stated his firm refusal, explaining that he considers Modi a war criminal due to his perceived role in orchestrating a mass slaughter of Muslims in Gujarat during the 2002 riots. He further elaborated that he believes the impact of these events was so severe that we don't even believe there are Gujarati Muslims anymore, and that Modi should be viewed in the same light as Benjamin Netanyahu. Mamdani supported Proposal 1, a 2024 amendment to the Constitution of New York that made it unconstitutional to engage in discrimination based on ethnicity, national origin, age, disability, sex including sexual orientation, gender identity and gender expression, pregnancy and pregnancy-related outcomes, and reproductive health care and autonomy. Mamdani supports enforcement of New York's sanctuary laws, which bar Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, from entering schools, hospitals, and city property without a judicial warrant. He has also proposed creating a commission to ensure compliance by city agencies and contractors. He said we should strengthen our sanctuary city laws. He has pledged that if he is elected mayor, the city will provide legal representation for all immigrants in detention proceedings. On March 12, 2025, Mamdani confronted border czar Tom Homan in Albany about ICE's recent arrest of Mahmoud Khalil. Mamdani yelled, "Do you believe in the First Amendment?" Mamdani is pro-trans rights. In February 2025, Mamdani appeared at a rally in Union Square to protest an executive order signed by President Trump that threatened to withhold federal funding from hospitals that provide gender-affirming treatments to trans youth. As part of his mayoral platform for NYC, Mamdani supports expanding and protecting gender-affirming care citywide. He proposed an immediate investment of $65 million in public providers to ensure funding for medical treatments that lose Medicaid coverage and promised to ensure hospital accountability. He also aims to establish NYC as an LGBTQ+ sanctuary city and establish the Office of LGBTQIA+ Affairs to expand and centralize the services, programs, and support that LGBTQIA+ New Yorkers need across housing, employment, and more. Mamdani supports permanently eliminating bus fares. He advocated for an MTA bus fare-free pilot program, which was launched on the Q4, B60, BX18, M116, and S4696 routes in September 2023. The program saw a 30% increase in ridership on weekdays, predominantly from people earning less than $28,000 a year. Across the 5 routes made free, assaults on bus operators dropped by 38.9%. The fare-free program ended in August 2024 after state lawmakers did not reauthorize it. In response, Mamdani said, the MTA was opposed to this program because they were saying that now is not the time to create any kind of confusion around fare collection. He estimates that it would cost New York City $650 million per year to eliminate bus fares. In December 2022, Mamdani introduced a series of bills for the 2023 session called Fix the MTA. He proposed free bus travel over the next 4 years across the Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, and then Manhattan and Staten Island. The Formula 3 Act would fill the $2.5 billion shortfall of the MTA, with another plank freezing fares at $2.75. Another plank would have set aside further money for more frequency, such as 6-minute headways for trains and the 100 most used bus routes, then using any additional funds to increase service by 20%. In 2023, Mamdani co-introduced a bill to enact a weight-based vehicle registration fee to dissuade people from owning heavier vehicles in an effort to make streets safer. Mamdani supports congestion pricing and drafted a bill with New York State Senator Michael Gianaris titled Get Congestion Pricing, Right to Increase Bus Service Frequency and Increase the Number of Fare-Free Buses. Mamdani naturalized as a U.S. citizen in 2018, becoming a dual citizen of the U.S. and Uganda. He is a Shia Muslim, and he identifies with the Twelver branch. In February 2025, Mamdani married American animator Rama Duwaji in a private ceremony at New York City Hall. The couple, who'd met years prior on the dating application Hinge, publicly announced their marriage 3 months after their wedding. Mamdani and Duwaji currently reside in Astoria, Queens. Mamdani is a fan of the New York Mets and the New York Giants. He also supports the English football club Arsenal. Besides English, Mamdani has used other languages during his mayoral campaign, showing different degrees of proficiency in Hindi, Urdu, Bengali, and Spanish. I stop at this point today. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring the world's incredible stories. Thank you for watching.